Blessings to everyone, and most welcome everyone in this sunny day or nighttime in your place, wherever you are. So when we hear that we carry the divine spark in us, then we don't really know usually what that means, no? Somehow it connects us with the divine, but what is the spark of the divine, and how does it spark in us, and what is the rest of us? No? If there is one divine spark, actually it means that there is God inside, no? Because a spark in the divine scale is an ocean, right? It's an infinite ocean. You could say also you have an infinite ocean within you, right? And it has to be like this, because what you experience in earth is not just your humanness, yeah. It is actually you're acting upon the divine, no? So given the divine will, given the divine being within us, it means that we can make incredible things and we can experience incredible things. But there is one difference towards the divine itself, and this is that we are not given this divine will in absolute freedom, yeah, in absolute. So the divine will nowadays, we would say, is happening within a simulation. Yeah. In the old times, of course, there was not this expression possible that they could say it is a simulation or it is a kind of video game, right? Because it didn't exist. So what did they use? They used the word dream, they used the word illusion, maya, dunya, no? But it is the same thing than what we would say nowadays, it's a simulation. So in this simulation, yeah, we can do our experiences, but we are not a threat for the entire universe, no? So that means the ripples of our decisions are not on a universal scale like the ripples of the divine, no? And this is the difference. You see why the simulation is stable is because everything else doesn't carry this divine will. Yeah. So all the animals, all the flowers, all the stones, wherever they are, all the atoms, they are out of this part. Yeah. And as we are not conscious about our power, our possibilities, we create huge disasters on a collective level. We can say we create the apocalypse, right? We are on the way to it, no, on all kinds of levels, right? And it has to do with not understanding, first of all, our lower nature. Yeah, you see, the lower nature is not separate from the divine nature. Yeah, it is. You can't separate it. It is one thing. So if the lower nature is still active, it's amplified by the divine. And this is why one person can become a mass murder that can kill millions and millions of people. It happened in history, isn't it? Yeah. And one person can do that, right? Nowadays, you wouldn't think it anymore. Yeah. But it's still happening. Yeah. It could still happen, right? And as one can enlighten the whole world. Yeah. In history, it was usually one person that enlightened whole societies and changed the history of men, no? At least in their area, and then later, after their death, it became global movements, no? That big quantities of our human race follows those, no? And this would be the positive examples of what a person can reach, no? What one person can do, yeah. Now, nowadays we have other examples, for example, in richness. So we have people that are so rich that they extend the brutto social product of a whole state, yeah, right? In the best times, Elon Musk was around $300 billion rich. Yeah, now he lost pretty much, but he's still not poor, yeah. I mean, what you can do with 300 billion is unbelievable, right? Yeah, that is a power, no? And he was very, or he is still very conscious about that he has a certain power, no? So not for nothing, he wanted to go and get Twitter so that he has also a tongue. No, not only the financial power, but it has also a communicative power. Yeah, millions and billions of people listen what he says, right? Yeah. So on our smaller level, we first experience the force of our lower self. Yeah. And the lower self brings us to the lower self. Yeah. It always repeats itself. It mirrors itself. Yeah. So when you act out of the lower self, of the ego self, of the selfish self, yeah, that is in itself a suicidal being, no? Yeah, that destroys others, that destroys itself. No, there is the saboteur in it, there is the manipulator in it, there is the corruptive one in it, there's the hypocrite in it, and so on and so on. No? And this one reflects itself in this dream, in this simulation. No? It gets mirrored by many, 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 many mirrors, right? No? And but it is powerful as a god. Yeah. So when that power, even it is unconscious, comes together as a collective, it destroys the planet. We can, thanks God, we cannot destroy other planets. We would do that immediately if we had the reach in our simulation, but we don't have. Yeah, we're a bit imprisoned here. No, our rockets are not really from the high kind. You know, we cannot jump through wormholes yet, or whatever we would like to do. Yeah, we can just stay more or less in our planets, and we can maybe send 3-4 people to the moon. Yeah, and already when they were flying to the moon, I don't know if you know that, they were leaving 23 tons of garbage on the moon. Yeah, right. In all the moon missions, they ended up with 23 tons of garbage. You know, what kind of behavior is that? Isn't it? Yeah. It's like you come visit somebody, you know, and you bring all your garbage and say, no, can I place that here? You know, yeah, thank you. Yeah, right. What kind of behavior is that? Yeah. So imagine if we would find something there which is valuable, and there are other beings there, it would be the end. This is clear, right? So we are isolated in our perception. There might be others outside there. Yeah, I mean, this is a hot theme all the time. Yeah, and everyone says, yeah, there is outside someone's, and there is proof, and the pyramids have been built now by aliens, and everything which is big somehow has been built by aliens now, right? Is it or not? Yeah. So I wonder what the generation after us will say, yeah, when they see all these towers, yeah, and they don't understand how we did them, and they say, yeah, but must have been aliens, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying aliens don't exist, probably they exist, but mostly the majority is not in contact with it, right? Yeah, it's more like a mental connection than a real connection that you really have, no? And hopefully, actually for you better, you don't, Yeah, because life is already complicated enough with the species you are with, and if there is another species that is not really in our context, so what you're gonna do? Yeah, so we shouldn't look for those, right? So to come to experience yourself in a beneficial way, yeah, there is only one way, and this is what we call now the moral healing. Yeah. So the aliens are not just jinns. Now we're not gonna go there today. Yeah. All right. So uh, so we need a moral healing. Yeah. And this is the basic of every spiritual path. Yeah. This is the difference between psychology that doesn't really care about that, because it doesn't care about values in that sense. Yeah. It doesn't postulate any values. It postulates just understanding of what happens to you when your father beats you up, your mother doesn't love you, or whatever there is. No, yeah, but it doesn't give you, in that sense, a kind of moral teaching. No, yeah, and moral healing means that the one who corrupts us within ourselves stops doing that. Yeah, that is moral healing. Yeah, that you understand from your own higher perspective that everyone has, no? Because as you have the divine ocean within you, of course you have also the knowledge of it. Yeah. You have the clear message of it. Yeah. So in the game of La ilaha illallah, we said it yesterday already, there is no outcome. There is one outcome from the beginning of the game clear. You will end up with La ilaha illallah. Yeah. This is the title of the game. This is the end of the game. This is the beginning of the game. This is the middle of the game. It's the game at any point. Yeah. Right. And everything else is a dream within the dream. Yeah. Everything else we project, that we having relationships, that we having um, our adventures, and so on, is a form of dreaming. No. Yeah. Because the divine itself, yeah, has all the experiences possibly they can be. Yeah, there is nothing left. There is nothing that the divine has to experience yet. You understand? Yeah. And this is why you can understand what is right and what is not right. You can understand it because you have always this higher self, this higher I on you, that in the old text it's called conscience. Yeah. And I love this word very much. It is actually a perfect expression of the divine voice. Yeah. When your conscience talks to you, that means God talks to you, right? And it talks not in a screaming way. It is not like intimidating. It talks in a very, very subtle and very intimate way, but very subtle. Yeah. You can easily overrun it. No. And this is what we need to understand from the divine nature, Yeah. Of course, there is Qadr, there is the force, and the force you also will experience is actually the first thing you will experience. Yeah. But there is also the opposite of it. Yeah? Most tender, most loving, most sweet, most thing. And usually this is how he speaks to us. Yeah. And we don't want to hear it because we don't want to be reminded that we are not on the top of our behaviors, of our way we live the life. No, yeah, we would like to be perfect. We would like to appear completely integer. No, so it's very hard to go and see the shadow self, and all the spiritual path is first of all about that. Yeah. No. Because in the light, in the perfection, there's nothing to do. What you want to do there, you know. So you have to go to the other, right? So this is why we have to come here, because in the light, yeah, there is just perfection. So there is no other. Yeah. You cannot learn there. There is no opposite. Yeah. There is nothing that can be reflected. So you need to come here where the shadow can appear. No. So it's an imperfect world. It's not an ideal world. Yeah. It's a very unfair world in a way. Yeah. It's full of injustices, full of not logic also, right? It's completely illogic. Yeah. Some people are born like this, some people are born like this, and you ask yourself, why is that? Right? Then of course you can say with past lives, but a life began once, right? So if you go all back, you would think that we all were the same. No, we were never the same from the very beginning. There was not the same. Yeah, because in the divine, there is no divine name the same. Yeah, nothing is the same. If you notice in creation, not one snowflake is the same like the other, not one raindrop, not one atom. Finally, we find it out. Not one atom is the same than the other. Isn't it crazy? Right? This is why they want to stop their work in CERN, because it costs so much money and they cannot go further than what they have reached now. Yeah. So they found a myriads of particles, yeah, that are permanently fluctuating and changing and God knows what, and they give them many names: the beautiful one, the God one, the ugly one, the strange one, very funny names, but they can't find out what it is. Yeah, they can't really make sense of it. Yeah, so they say, okay, the thing is too expensive to run it for years and years, and we cannot go 1 millimeter further. Yeah. But one thing we have to understand within the simulation, yeah, which represents the world of mind, no, yeah, the world of dream. That is what happens in the mind, right? It cannot be explained what is beyond it. No, it's that simple. So science will never be able to explain in the way science does at the moment what is the divine, yeah, or what is beyond what we cannot see now, and so on, right? So in us are these two beings, yeah. That one is at every moment in bliss, in the divine realm, in happiness, yeah, in utmost happiness, in utmost fulfillment, no? And how much you experience that has to do with the word consciousness, no? Yeah. So the more conscious, the more aware you become of it, the more you can allow it to be there. Yeah. The more you experience it. But it is in itself infinite, right? Everything in itself is infinite. Yeah. What is finite in this simulation is the physical. No. So we are projected, literally projected into it. Yeah. With a dense body, but it's a projection. That this is why it's coming from the light. It is like the cinema. Imagine it like a cinema, right? Only that it happens in 3D. Yeah, it's projected, yeah, from the projector. No, the divine projector projects it, and it happens through light. It's also interesting, right? It can only happen through light. Yeah, and then we are into the movie. Yeah. And it is written in the book of love, and he creates a situation and we have to step into it. You know? So it creates a film, yeah, and we have to step into it. So we are all in our own movie, you can say, right? And in that movie, we have certain roles to play, and we are chained to them. Yeah. In Sufism, we say there are 5 chains, that chain us to that role. Yeah. That we have to play it, play through it. One is desire, very strong chain. Yeah, because we are all the time into desire, one or the other. We want to come in a situation more, we want to come out of it, we want to have more from something, we want to have less from something, we want to be with that person or that person, and so on and so on. There is permanently an idea what we need and what we desire, right? So this is one chain. Then in the desires, there is this different qualities of desires. Not every desire is the same, right? There's different levels of desires. And the first one is what is called Rajasi, which means it is purely selfish. It's very materialistic, no? And it is only to your own benefit, no? Second level is you become conscious about suffering, no? Because not everyone is so conscious about their suffering, you see, yeah. There are people, they cannot understand their own unhappiness, thinking they are living in a certain kind of happiness, but actually they're living in an unhappiness, but not yet ready to allow it to see, no? Right? So this state is called tamas. Tamas means suffering, yeah. And a person who is in tamas is under the merciful eye of the divine, yeah. Because even we are the manufacturing source of our own suffering, yet we are not fully conscious about it, right? And this is why we cannot also be responsible at any moment, yeah. So the more you become conscious that you are the source of whatever there is in your life, more you have to take responsibility for all, yeah. Finally, you reach complete responsibility for every breath you take, for every word you say, for every emotion you express, yeah. And until that moment, there is mercy, no? There is tenderness. And you can experience that, especially in the early years of your life, that when you made a mistake, no? Maybe you remember that sometimes you said to yourself, oh my God, this is the end. that mistake is just the end. Yeah, I don't know how to come out of it. And then miraculously, a year later, you're out of it, isn't it? Yeah. And this effect, you have it a lot until you're 40 years old. Then from 40 on, yeah, the credit is somehow used and you get the full forces. Yeah. Before Gurdjieff, he has these numbers that he says 48 forces, they reach you up to 40. Well, when you go in 40, you get 96 forces. Yeah, the double, no? And why he chooses this numbers is also because of frequencies and so, but I don't want to go too much in that now. Yeah, let's keep it like this, that he said it is 96 forces, and one day we can come to it, inshallah. And so we are then under the full pressure of life. It doesn't happen immediately with 40, but it happens slowly. Sometimes when a person did a great work before that time, yeah, it can happen that this force, that the 96 forces actually bring you to enlightenment, yeah, throw you out beyond the frame of your personality. And that would be what is nowadays called enlightenment. In Sufism, we don't have that word really, because there is not such a thing like one enlightenment and then that's it. Yeah, it is an infinite enlightening, let's say. So all of you are enlightened to a certain point, no? But what is called enlightenment means that the gravity of the ego is now not anymore winning, no? Right? So your higher self, your identification with the lower instincts is not anymore controlling our life. That would be enlightenment, no? And in our tradition, we say this is from where actually you start to live. Yeah. Before it's not really a life. Yeah. It is more a miserable life. It is a life where there is just misery ruling most of the time. No? Where there is unfulfilled desires, where there is fears, where there is sadnesses, and so on and so on. No? So the person that makes itself on the path and has the courage, decided for this courage, because all emotions, we said it many times, are decisions. Yeah, very important to understand that. And they are basically containers of energy, and you can decide in which direction you want to move them. Yeah. So when you are angry and you become slowly aware of your own power, yeah, then you understand you can control the anger. You can control emotions. You cannot control the source of thoughts, right? But once they're out, we also can control certain thoughts, but we can control the chain. That means the thought that transforms into emotions and then transforms into action. We can control that. Yeah. And this is what we have to do. This is what we have to practice. Yeah. All right. That would be called moral healing. Yeah. Because healing is not happening from you by whatever miracle. Healing is what you do. Yeah. No one outside there will heal you. Yeah. Right. You will do it. Yeah. And that means every time when something in you gets healed, that means more responsibility comes to you. A kind of weight comes into your life, a kind of choicelessness, more and more choiceless will become your life. At the final stage, there is just Samyana, I'm hearing, yeah, Va'atana, and I'm following. No, yeah, this is what it is. As everything, every atom in the reality is behaving like that. Yeah. Only in our dream, it looks like that we have a choice. But outside it, outside our personality, outside this illusion, you will find yourself completely, utterly choiceless. Yeah. There is just La ilaha illallah. Yeah. Or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Om Namah Shivaya, whatever you want to call it. It is all fine. Yeah. But there is justice, nothing else. No. And that's very hard, right? It's very hard because that means there is no place really as me in that reality. Yeah. No. There is only one place to be and one profession to be, you can say, this is the servant. Yeah. There is just servanthood, nothing else. Yeah. Everything, absolutely everything is in servanthood. And even you can become a co-creator. That would be the highest rank of being in the divine realm, is that the divine makes you a friend. No? So that means he gives you a kind of generosity that is indescribable. Yeah. In the divine generosity, we talk about universes that are given to you. Yeah. And that you can create in it whatever you like. Yeah. But you will, of course, create it good, because you are so close in the service and you're so absolute one with the knowledge, with the wisdoms, with the intelligence as well, that you will not create a nonsense. No. Okay. So when a person starts to come out of tamas into sattvic, yeah. Sattvic means the wise lifestyle, the way to live that all of you know somehow. Yeah. Everyone has a wisdom. You understand clearly where you are not wise, isn't it? Yeah. It's not something that someone really has to tell you. Yeah. At the end of the day, you understand there is something not wise. It's refusing wisdom in our life. Yeah. Yeah. Be it that we want to make our circumstances responsible, that's not wise. Our parents, our society, our leaders, God knows what. Yeah, your bad horoscope. Yeah, yeah, it's very bad, right? When you have a bad horoscope, no, yeah. But don't worry. As far as I understood that most of masters that we know their birth time pretty precise, they have terrible horoscopes. Yeah, terrible birth charts. You don't want to have one like that. Yeah, that is actually where my beloved wife would say when the astrologer shakes your hand and says good luck. No, yeah, yeah, and we know it from Malana that some they looked into it as much as they could, and it was terrible. Yeah, absolutely terrible. What we think is terrible, right? All squares and God knows what terrible stuff. Yeah. So one day you don't care anymore about your chart, about your past, about any drama and karma and God knows what is all attached to you. Yeah, you don't care. Yeah, because what it matters, for whom it matters. Yeah, right. For whom it matters, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you let it go. You have enough from it. You don't want to take it with you all the time as this and that and that. It's just a waste of time. Yeah. One day you come in this point where you just want to practice. You want to devote yourself. You want to go and make it good as you can. That's all. Yeah. And when a fear comes along, you say, hello, fear, I'm here to conquer you. Yeah, I'm here to go through you. I'm here to pass through you. No matter how you present yourself in front of me, I'm determined to go through it. Yes, that's what we do with fears. And sadness, we say, thank you, sadness, for the depths you give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But you don't stay there forever. Yeah, you go further as well, right? Or you have a panic attack, panic comes, assalamu alaikum, panic, yeah. And then you breathe, okay? You breathe and the panic will go. It's like this, panic attacks are short, yeah, you don't have 1 month panic attacks. Okay, so when the panic comes, you don't panic. You know what I mean? Yeah, you panic, but you don't panic. That's what you do. All right. And all your past experiences, all your past hurtings and past heavy stuff that you got hurt and hurt and hurt from the ex, from the second ex, from the third ex, whatever ex it was, doesn't matter. You leave them free. You wish them the best. Good it is. Okay. Yeah. And Mama, Papa, same thing. We say thank you for bringing me to this world. Finish. More than this, we don't have to say. Yeah. And if you have a loving relationship, congratulations. Yeah. It's not for everyone possible, but thanks God for many, many it's possible. Yeah. In Sufism, we say you cannot become happy with everything. Yeah. But you can become in peace with everything. All right. So that is what you do. Yeah. And this is what we actually in this time have to do. Yeah. So if you feel that you need to go to therapy, my goodness, go to therapy. Yeah. Never mind. But do the work. You understand? Yeah. Make it as short as possible. Yeah. In my humble experience, those of you here are out of therapy. Finish it. If it didn't help you up to now, the next one will not help you either. Yeah. Therapy for you is done. You know, you had enough therapy. Yeah. Now comes your own therapy. Okay. And that is the one that will work. No? And it is promised in the book of love. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha, laha ma kasabat wa alayha ma iktasabat. So no soul is burdened more than it can carry, right? That means all that has happened to you, you are able to carry it. Yeah? And the ego says, of course, no, I can't carry that. Yeah. But very often you ask yourself always first a question. Does mean when I say can't, I don't want? Or is it really I can't? Have you ever really met in yourself, I can't? Huh? Have you ever met in yourself, I can't? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe once in your life. Yeah. But not often. Usually is I don't want. Yeah. Is it or not? Yeah. What is there that you cannot? Hmm? What is there that you cannot, and what is there that you can? Yeah. You can everything on a certain point, isn't it or not? Yeah. So go with that. Yeah. And stop these games, I can't, yeah. And no. Finish. Yeah. Remember Obama, yeah. Why did we think he's almost a messiah? Because he said we can, right? It was his thing, no, we can. Yeah. In Sufism, we add one word to it. We say we can, inshallah. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we are not the doer, right? We're not the doer. So certain things we have to play and keep playing in this movie. Yeah, we cannot just jump out of ourselves and be completely out. Yeah. As long as we are in this third dimension, we have to play movie. Okay. Yeah. And the reason why we like to play games is actually a kind of deviation about our own divine consciousness. Yeah, why we like video games, because this is where we have the control, right? And where we are the maker, where we are the doer, no? Yeah. So this is for a moment the God position. Yeah. But then you come back in your simulation, and in that one, you are not the doer. Yeah. Very important. Okay. So when you have a model that you can copy, this is the easiest. This is part of every spiritual path, There is a Buddha, there is a Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is a Isa, yeah, peace be upon all of them. Yeah, there is a Krishna, whatever you wanna tell, name them. Yeah, there is a Meher Baba, there is a Sheikh Nazim, yeah, there is a Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi, there is a Rumi, yeah, and so on and so on. You can choose any of them and make it your model, yeah, and you try to be as it, yeah. So in our tradition, we say that the Prophet ﷺ is this Insan Kamil, the perfect model, yeah, the perfect man, right? The superhuman in a way, that in no aspect somehow you can act better, right? And if you study his life, if you come close to his way of doing things, you will understand that there is nothing what you can really find that can be done better. I mean, not in my experience, you know, that is up to you. You may see it yourself. But what I have experienced, it is always the ultimate, intelligent, loving, truthful, honest, compassionate behavior that can be found. Yeah. And of course, when you look at them, they are gradually different, but they are not really different in quality. Yeah. And this is why it says also in that same ayat, Aman Rasulu, that all the prophets among them are the same, yeah, in their heights, in their perfection, in a way. Yeah. So you choose one, right? And now there is every information there. You know, there is no point that we can say, never come in contact. No, no, no. Yeah. You choose one that you feel attracted. Yeah. And you look in which world that happens, yeah, which means the world of aesthetics also, for example, because that's very important. Yeah. You must feel attracted by the aesthetics of this path also. Yeah. Zen has its aesthetics, no? Yeah. Buddhism has its aesthetics. Christianity has their aesthetics. Yeah. And Islam has their aesthetics. Judaism have their aesthetics, right? And they're all different, very different. Yeah. So you look what corresponds with you aesthetically also. That is always a good hint. Yeah. That means there is somehow something at home with you. No? Or for example, there's people, poetry for them is completely nothing. It doesn't have any special meaning or value. Yeah. And then there's others, they love poetry. Yeah. Right. Or arts. Yeah. Some people have no contact with arts. Yeah. They just doesn't click with them. No. Or music. But if that is a thing that clicks with you, then you should have a look into Hinduism, Islam, yeah, Sikhism, those around, yeah. And if you're lucky, you find the living one, yeah. It's not easy because there are not many completed ones on earth, and especially in this time, they are very hidden, yeah. No, but there are. One real one, for example, is Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, he's a good person, very good person. You can feel it immediately when you hear him talking, when you see him. He's just a pure soul. Yeah, right. Yeah, safe, very safe. Yeah, how much he can educate you is another question, but you can always get some inspiration from him. Yeah, and there is one rule. The closer you come to a master, yeah, in the physical, the more difficult it will be to follow. Yeah. You see, this is the law of paradoxia. Yeah. You see, every truth, yeah, Siggy Jung said that. Every truth is paradox, right? If it's not paradox, it's not true. Yeah. So the story with the master is the most paradox thing. No, they throw you in all kinds of difficulties, yeah, and sufferings as well, right? It's never easy. Okay, but when you are into it, you also understand there is no out. Yeah, no matter what you think, no matter what you get inspired, there is a certain imprisonment if you find one. Yeah. All right. They take hostages. Yeah. And they keep it as long as they want. Yeah. Malala used to say to me, your life is between my thumb and my finger. And if I make it like this, it's like this. And if I make it like this, it's like this. Yeah, said. Yeah. And this is how I experience it. Right. And he said many times, when I'm dead, you are free. Yeah. Yeah. I actually didn't want to be free ever. And I don't think that I will be ever free from him in that sense. Because he was the freedom himself. So how you want to be free from the freedom? No. He was the love himself. You cannot become free from it. Right. But as he understood, of course, there are all these paradoxia of this relationship. There is a certain imprisonment in it. Yeah. Right. So I think we made a time jump, huh? Unbelievable. It's almost 1 hour. So I hope it is clearer to you, yeah, what to do. We could say, like Malala said, if you have the power to do now 1% more than before, do 1% more, you know, but do that 1%. Yeah, do something better than yesterday, let's say. Yeah. Okay. And if you say, I'm already on the best, that's okay. Then do that best more. Yeah. Right? Try that. Yeah. And this is how we are looked at. No? Is what is our intention to live? Yeah. And this will define if this transition that we are fully into it is a hard one and very, 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 very terrible, or that we have it a little softer. Yeah. This is the option. We are into it. No? Inshallah, we are so wise finally that we say soft is okay for us. Yeah. Yeah. I said it yesterday. No, the people who come here, they are called the mischievous ones. No, very difficult to educate. Yeah. Very heavy. Yeah. And now they come in the last school, yeah, where it's tough teachers, tough punishments also. Yeah. Very tough. No. Where the spaceship itself shakes, that we never had before, right? And not what we know. Yes, if we forget about Atlantis and Lemuria and God knows what. Yeah, okay. Yes, first time shakes our spaceship. Yeah, we don't know if the spaceship can make it. Yeah, so this is a very unique situation, and there is really only one way, and this is we have to work together, no matter what we believe. There's one point we can always agree, and this is truth. Yeah. So make the truth your guardian, your guide. It can never guide you wrong. Yeah. Okay. And you know what is the truth. No one has to explain that to you. Yeah. You know it inside deeply. Yeah. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it that you're here, and for your contributions also. I'm very thankful for it as well. And wishing you the best, more than the best. Wishing you bliss and utmost happiness and joy in your life. Deepest peace, deepest strength, deepest confidence. Yeah. Health. Yeah. Good health. And just try. That's all they ask. Yeah. Try sincerely. Yeah. You fall down, stand up. Try again. Yeah. Okay, was here the fanfara for you. Yeah. Yeah. Always, creation gives feedback. Yeah. Be aware on it. Yeah. Always, even we live in a simulation, but it's still connected. Yeah. It is still connected to existence in its total. So there's always feedback. That is how they communicate with us, actually. Yeah. And thank you so much. Yeah. All the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.